Welcome, Algebra 1 students. This is Miss Parsons. Today we're going to talk about dividing polynomials. So make sure you have your notebook out, ready to take notes. So the first thing we're going to talk about is canceling. That's really one of the goals as we simplify here, is to have things canceling out. So canceling is a division of a factor by itself. Dividing a factor by itself gives us 1, right? We see that when we do 2 divided by 2, that equals 1. Or x squared divided by x squared also gives us 1. Canceling only works when dealing with factors that are being multiplied. Oh, come on. So when we are dividing a polynomial by another polynomial, the first thing we want to do is factor the numerator and denominator completely. And don't forget to look for that GCF. Okay, so this factoring here, we're going to use our ACB trees. And then we're going to cancel using division. So let's see what that looks like. So here, we're going to factor both the numerator and denominator. So I'm looking at my numerator and I'm thinking, is there a GCF that goes into 8n cubed plus 4n? Okay, well, that is 4n can go into both of those, which leaves me with 2n squared plus 1 as my leftovers. Now the denominator is already factored or already simplified as much as it can be. So I just leave it 2n. So I have some things that cancel out. A 4 and a 2 can be simplified to 2 over 1, and the n's can cancel out. So what I'm left with is 2 times the quantity of 2n squared plus 1, and you can write it over 1 if you want, or you can just leave it like that. So say I want to simplify x plus 5 over x squared plus 2x minus 15. So I need to factor the numerator and the denominator. Okay, the numerator is already simplified into one binomial. So we're just going to leave that x plus 5. But let's look at our denominator here. I have x squared plus 2x minus 15. This is a trinomial. Let's see if we can factor it. So a times c is negative 15, and it's going to add to 2. So we have to find those two numbers. And let's see, what multiplies to 15? I've got 1 and 15 and 3 and 5. What's going to help us give us that 2? And it's 3 and 5. So I've got 3 and 5, and the 3 is going to be negative. So if I was going to factor this, I have x squared plus 5x minus 3x minus 15. Group the first two, group the last two. The GCF that can come out of the first one is x, which leaves me with x plus 5. The GCF in the second grouping is negative 3, which, wouldn't you know it, leaves me with x plus 5. I know I'm on the right track because those match. So I have x minus 3 and x plus 5. So that is going to go in my denominator. Oh, and this is a minus 3. Sorry. All right, so do we see anything that cancels out? Well, I've got x plus 5s both in my numerator and my denominator, so those are going to cancel. Okay, So we have x minus 3 in the denominator, and it needs to stay in the denominator. So I need a little placeholder up here. Well, the division of two factors that are the same gives me 1. So my placeholder up there is 1. All right, I've got another one here. And you can see that the denominator is already factored for us. So I'm going to leave that there. But I need to factor my numerator. So the first thing we need to look for is a GCF. And I can see that there's a GCF of 2. So I'm going to pull a 2 out of each of these and dividing everything by 2. Then I'm going to use this trinomial and try and factor that. So a times c is 12. They need to add to 7. So let's see, what multiplies to 12? 1 and 12, 2 and 6, 3 and 4. 3 and 4 are going to give me 7. Okay, so if I was going to factor that, I've got x squared plus 3x plus 4x plus 12. Group your first two, group your last two. X comes out of the first guy to give me x plus 3. Positive 4 comes out of the second guy to give me x plus 3. I got to be on the right track because those match. So I have x plus 4 and x plus 3. Okay, and don't forget that 2, the GCF that we pulled out at the beginning. So I've got 2, x plus 3, and x plus 4. And you'll see the x plus 4's cancel and the x plus 3's cancel. So I'm left with 2 over 4. But 2 over 4 is also a fraction that can be reduced to 1/2. Okay, so the goal is to factor completely, cancel what you can, reduce any coefficients that you have.